They don't want another intervention from the international community. They want to show them that they are legitimate. They want to show that they can rule the country. Women have worked 20 years to gain their rights. Women have worked 20 years to be able to go and get education and have a job and have a role in the society. Now they're saying that if they are going very strong, then they will face resistance. But now, because they are sugarcoating everything, they're saying that they are giving women rights. They want to calm people. People are in a chaos. They're in panic. So they are the words that's the empty promises that they're doing is to calm people down.
Let's talk about refugees, the fact that many countries will be taking in refugees from Afghanistan. Boris Johnson's outlining that. There'll be 5,000 this year, 20,000 over the next few years. Just if you wouldn't mind telling us your story, Homira, you came over as a 13-year-old, right?
Yes, I was born during the Taliban regime. So as a child, I wasn't able to get an education, which was a direct impact on my life and my childhood, which was I was deprived of. So coming to the UK at the age of 13, I couldn't speak a word of English, and I had only gone to school for about 2 to 3 years. And I started year 8 in school. So, being deprived of my education at that time was something that had impacted me quite a lot. And yes, I came to the UK at the age of 13. I've been in Birmingham ever since.
One thing that struck me, Homira, all the pictures on board the planes bringing people out in those desperate scenes, they were all men.
I think when Afghanistan has always been a conservative society. So whenever a man leaves the house, and of course during the Taliban regime, a lot of women are still at home. A lot of them are fearful of Taliban, how they treated women back in the 90s. They believe that's how they're going to be treated again. So as you can see in the image, they're all men on the streets. Women are nowhere to be seen. So that already is an impact of the Taliban takeover.
Homira, what is your biggest fear about the Taliban now they have control? What would you say is your biggest concern, speaking to people over there?
My biggest concern is they are going to commit another mass genocide against minorities and vulnerable groups such as the Hazara people. An example of the genocide they committed was in 1998 in Mazar-e-Sharif, where within the span of 72 hours, they killed over 10,000 Hazaras. We have received unconfirmed reports from the Herat, where they are collecting these Hazaras or Shias from Herat, and we don't know what they're doing with them. They've been kidnapping and targeting from the Hazara community. So the Hazara community are in fear that there is going to be another genocide committed against them.
We're all waiting to hear from the Prime Minister, who's recalled Parliament, 9:30 this morning. What do you expect? What do you want him to say? What can he say?
I really hope that he's going to support the women in Afghanistan. He's going to support the minorities in Afghanistan, religious minorities such as Sikhs and Hindus who are at grave danger by the Taliban. And we know that from their previous treatment. And in the past 20 years, there have been many targeted attacks against these communities. So I do want to see that the Prime Minister supporting this group of people. And also we have a unknown number of undocumented Afghan immigrants that I hope that he's not going to be deporting them back. And like he announced that he's going to be taking more refugees. And I also hope that he's going to support the Afghan people and the Afghan refugees through a humanitarian corridor, perhaps, so to ensure that these people are not going to be killed by the Taliban.
And Homira, just finally, I just want to ask you, do you feel let down? Do you feel let down by America, by Britain?
Absolutely. I think that we have, as a British community, we have sacrificed so much in the past 20 years. And to let all of that go, to waste all of that effort, it is, I think, a betrayal to the women of Afghanistan, especially. Every woman that I talk to, from civil rights activists to human rights defenders to women's rights activists, the suffering that they feel is the betrayal that they they have had from the international community, and the fact that the 20 years worth of work that they worked so hard to gain that right as a woman has now just gone and disappeared overnight.
Presumably you still have friends, I don't know, maybe family in Afghanistan. Are you in touch with them? You must fear for them.
I have actually not been able to contact some of my family members in Afghanistan. I am in contact with my family in Kabul. We try to get updates from them. I have families in Herat as well. It is one of the hardest time of my lives. Migrating from Afghanistan to the UK, I thought it was hard adapting to a new culture, but losing a country, losing everything that we've worked for in the past 20 years has been very difficult.
Yeah, it's like you've gone back in time, isn't it? It must be like a nightmare for you and the people of Afghanistan.
Absolutely. It's, for 15 million women in Afghanistan, that their basic human rights have now been taken away from them. We have minorities in Afghanistan. We have vulnerable ethnic groups like the Hazaras who are now fearing for their lives because of their ethnicity or their gender, or they belong to a certain group of people. And the Taliban are cruel. They're a terrorist group. They're the biggest cartel in the world, and they are now supposedly leading a country like Afghanistan.
Can I just try and ask something that may shed a bit of light on all this? I don't know. Since you came into this country at the age of 13, has the United Kingdom been good to you?
The United Kingdom has offered me so much opportunity. I actually have a PhD in medicine. My work during my PhD, I worked on a therapeutic for a drug for a disease called preeclampsia, which there are no treatments available, and that has now moved to the development of it. So I think the UK, I have the UK to thank for this, and for giving me the opportunity to be able to contribute to the field of science, to contribute something to humanity, really. So I have so much to thank for the community, and I do continue to work for the community, for Birmingham, to ensure that I give all my thanks back.
Well, it sounds like we have a lot to thank you for as well.
Yeah.
And really grateful that you've joined us this morning, and really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.